She said, so the guy gets mad. He calls the desk clerk. He says, hey, come up here and see what's wrong. Hell, I told this bitch to blow me, and she went. So the desk clerk said, I'm just going to show you one more damn time. There was a little boy sitting on the railroad track playing with his... So the preacher came by. He says, little boy, what are you doing? He says, oh, I'm playing with my yo-yo. He said, yo-yo? He said, why do you call it a yo-yo? He says, well, because it goes up and down. The preacher says, up and down? He says, yes. He says, right now it's up. Would you like to go down? You know what a vice squad is? A pussy posse.
Don't you say nothing.
There were 3 pregnant prostitutes sitting around the fireplace. And so one girl said to the other and said, Sue Jane, what do you want your baby to be? She says, oh, I want a boy. Said, Mary Jane, what you want your baby to be? She said, oh, I want a girl. So they asked Lucy sitting over there in the corner, dipping snuff and chewing tobacco at the same damn time. Say, hey, Lucy, say, what you want your baby to be? She said, well, I don't give a damn what that son of a bitch be. But I know one thing. I don't want no more of them damn white bastards, because they too damn hard to keep clean. 2 winos was walking down the street, drunk off this wine, you know. So anyway, they passed the General Hospital. One wino looked up at the hospital, a great big building. He said to his buddy, he said, hey, man. He said, you see that big building up there? The other wino looked up. He said, yeah, man, I see it. He said, you know what? He said, I bet it's over 150 cases of polio in that building. The other wino looked at him. He said, yeah, man. He said, is that better than Gallo? Did you hear about the preacher? He preaching about Samson. Samson is a mighty strong man. Yeah. Samson, he slew 1,000 Philistines with a jawbone of ass. Yeah, he was up there preaching, honey. And honey, he was putting his finger in his ear, and he was just ringing his finger in his ear. He said, Samson, he's the strongest man in captivity. Yeah. I want to tell you about Samson, brothers and sisters. Yeah. So one old man sitting out in the audience, he said, preach on, Reverend, preach on. I hear you now. And honey, the preacher, he was preaching so fast, he said, Samson, he slew, he slew 1,000 Philistines with a jawbone of an ass. And one old lady sitting in the back, honey, she didn't quite hear him. She said, Pastor, what did you say? And the pastor was talking so fast, he said, well, he jobbed him in the ass. Hey, my room number is 69, but I'm going to change it to 88. He ate and she ate. This man died a sinner. So they had him in the church. And the preacher, he was down on his knees in front of the casket. He's just preaching. Oh, Lord, I want you to take Brother Smith on into heaven. I know he was a sinner down here on earth. But I want you to take him on into heaven. I want you to have 3 angels standing on each side. I want you to have St. Peter to open the gate and let him on in, because we know he was a sinner. And you know, back there in the olden days down there in Mississippi, hell, they didn't embalm them then, you know. They didn't know nothing about embalming, see. And at any time, the corpse might sit up in the casket, so this is what this cat did. This cat sprung up in the casket. And he was grinning, honey. And all the members of the church ran out. But by the preacher, his eyes was closed, you know, praying this son bitch into heaven. And honey, when he opened his eyes, he saw this son bitch sitting up there with his mouth open. He pulled out his 45. He said, up, you motherfucker. He said, don't you move a damn toilet. He said, I'll kill your black ass again. a train, and her name was Ella, and she was going to a place called Ella, Florida. So the conductor comes through the train, he's just hollering all the stops, you know, so the people get off at the right stop. He said, Pensacola, Florida, Tallahassee, Jamaica, Ella. And she thought he was talking about her, and she said, all but wiping. It was a colored pilot flying an airplane. So he gets on this plane, you know, and it's about 75 or 80 people on the plane. He gets on the plane, and he jumps up in the cockpit, and he gets onto the intercom, and he says, ladies and gentlemen, he said, this is the first colored pilot to ever fly the Pan American Airline. He says, hell, he said, we're going to fly all over. He said, we're going to fly 80,000 feet in the air. He says, we're going to fly to Japan, we're going to fly to London, England, we're going to fly to Australia, we're going to fly every damn where. He said, hell, we got plenty to eat on the damn plane. He says, hell, we got black-eyed peas and neck bones. He said, we got chitlins with the instant hog maw sauce. We got instant collard greens. We got every damn thing. Hell, we got plenty to drink. Hell, we got wine, beer, whiskey, gin. Hell, we're going to smoke some weed, baby. Hell, we're going to smoke a wild honey, and we're going to snort some coke. And say, hell, we're going to get high as the sky if I ever get this motherfucker up off of the ground. A man was in the shower, taking a shower, and his little boy ran through the shower, and he saw his daddy's nuts hanging down. He stopped. He said, Daddy! He said, what are those hanging down? His daddy picked him up. He said, oh, honey, he said, that ain't nothing but nuts. He said, nuts? His daddy said, yes. He said, you mean the kind you put on the rock and crack? His daddy said, hell no, son, the kind you put in the crack and rock. There were two cowboys. They came into this town. They was looking for a place to stay. All the hotels was full because they had a convention in town. So they went to a rooming house, and they knocked on the door. The landlady came to the door. They said, look, he said, we two cowboys, and we don't have no place to stay, and we want to know if we can stay here. So the landlady says, well, she says, I got enough room for one cowboy, and maybe your friend can stay over next door at my lady friend's. So they said, well, that's all right with us as long as we close together. Anyway, one cowboy went in one house, the other cowboy went in the other lady's house. So that night, the cowboy, he said to the landlady, he says, you know, he said, I kind of like to fuck a little bit. So the landlady said, well, it's all right with me. She said, I'll do it. She said, I'll give you a little bit. She said, but don't tell the woman next door, because she's a loud mouth and she'll have it all over the neighborhood in the morning. The cowboy says, I won't tell her a damn word. So they went to bed and they got together. They started screaming, "Hi, Daddy! Shit! How? Fuck me! Do it, turn, baby! How? I'm coming, Daddy! Oh, honey, shit, he fucked that bitch till the time got better, honey. Over in the next house, the other cowboy was doing the same thing with his landlady. The next morning, the two cowboys want to tell each other what they had done. So the cowboy in the next house, he opened the window and he yodeled over to the other cowboy. He said, I did it to thee, landlady. The other cowboy yodeled back. He said, and I did it to thee, landlady, too. You know, Santa Claus came down a lady's chimney one Christmas, and he landed in her bedroom. He said, oh, lady, I didn't intend to land in your bedroom. She says, oh, that's all right, Santa. So she started pulling off her clothes. So Santa Claus looked at her. He said, ho, 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 I must go and take my toys to the girls and boys. So she pulled off her dress.